Hey guys, I'm Fancy, and this is the Good Wives Network, coming to you with an update on the case that we are leading experts on, the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. Yes, it is true that Gypsy is being released in December, on December 28th of this year. I have known this for almost a year. In fact, we reported on it on our YouTube channel when it happened. Gypsy was granted parole. She'll have served the 85% of her sentence, her 10-year sentence. And so she was granted parole. This was over a year ago that this happened, or at the beginning of this year. It's been a long time. I know it's been a long time, and we covered it. And so why it's hitting the papers today and now, and this is only, in my opinion, I believe it's a publicity stunt, because they have these projects that I know are in the works for when she gets out. The Blanchards have been remodeling their home. They have been doing this in preparation for a show that they are working on, along with a podcast. I was approached to do these things, and I turned them down because I won't work with the Blanchard family, because I know that anytime the Blanchard family is involved, no truth is being told. So I chose not to participate in these documentaries that they are doing, or whatever projects it is. And I have elected to do my own documentary. Now, we've been talking about this documentary for quite a long time, but I feel like a lot of things had to happen for this documentary to be as comprehensive as we wanted it to be. And one of those things was I went back to school, and I'm finishing up my senior year of a forensic psychology degree. Doing that has given me a fresh perspective on this case, and not so much on Gypsy. I have a very good handle on who Gypsy is, what she went through, all of that through the documents, the evidence, anything that I was provided, because I have all the documents and all the evidence and all the medical records and all that was never presented in court, because we only saw Nick's trial and Gypsy never went to trial. So I have all of that because I worked with the family for a good long time, and I had a great relationship with them until the first fiance started causing problems. And that was Ken. And he caused this big riff between me and Gypsy originally. And a lot of that had to do with Christy, because Gypsy was asking Christy to no longer do all these interviews that she was doing. Well, Christy didn't want to lose out on not being in the public eye and keeping this story going so that she could make money off of it. So she encouraged me to do them. I didn't go seeking out those interviews, guys. I was told to do them, and I was working with the family, so I thought I was doing the right thing. I was trying to protect them. So that is why. And it caused a huge problem with me and Gypsy, because Christy would lie and tell Gypsy things that aren't true. And because Gypsy's not here, she can't verify anything. She can't see what's really happening. She doesn't know, so she can only go by what people are telling her. So it caused this huge problem. And what happened was that once we started getting the evidence that was given to us, and once we got the interrogation video of Gypsy that nobody has seen, the whole thing, our opinion on the case changed, and we began digging way deep, and they didn't like that because it was exposing things that they did not want to be exposed. So they did anything and everything they could to try and destroy me. So I stopped working with them, and we cut off all contact. We refused to do anything with them ever again. And ever since then, it's been kind of them bashing me and me bashing them, but I'm not here to bash them. Do I think they made mistakes? Yes. Do I think that Christy and Rod are terrible parents? You fucking betcha. Maybe not to their 2 kids that they love and that they took care of and gave their wonderful lives, but to Gypsy? Yeah. Horrible parents growing up, horrible parents now. Gypsy is coming out after spending 8 years in prison. And she has gotten absolutely zero mental health help, despite it being offered by the prison, by Dr. Phil, by me trying to tell her that I would find a counselor who could come in and help them. And none, absolutely none. Now, I do believe she finished up her GED. I think she did some anger management classes. I know she told me about those. But to my understanding, through speaking with authorities, Christy, Gypsy, all these years, friends that were with her in prison, all these years, she has never gotten any mental health help. And I think that says a lot about who her parents are and how much they give a shit. Because if it were my child, and this had happened to my child somehow, there is no way in hell that, one, I would not be advocating every single day for her to get mental health help, but I certainly would not be encouraging engagements and marriages while in prison for a person who has never lived in the actual real world. If you were a parent encouraging that, you are a shit parent. And I said it, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it to their faces. They are shit parents. That's it. I'm sorry, they are. Anybody who thinks that a child or a girl or a woman, whatever, who has never had a real life, who has been abused, been sheltered, been taken away from everybody, knows no things, has never been to school, has never met guys or anything like that in real situations other than crime cons, Comic-Cons or whatever, should be getting married while in prison? What kind of effing parent are you? I would have said anything and anything to stop that from happening. I would have done anything. Up to even getting an injunction saying that she wasn't capable of making these decisions right now. Because she's not. And that's why it was supposedly annulled. But according to Mia, he's controlling her Facebook and her Instagram now and her TikTok and all the things that she has, which I don't believe she's allowed to have, but maybe because she was given parole, maybe she's allowed to do that. I don't know. But apparently he's supposedly covering them. He's supposedly taking care of them. Well, that's funny because a couple months ago when the story broke that she was engaged and getting married and then that she was married in prison, no dress, no nothing, a prison marriage. But when Mia gets married, it's going to be all fine. She's not going to be upset or anything. You're right. But anyway, getting married in prison, then 3 months later, they had annulled it. And I was contacted by several media outlets asking me if I knew what had happened. And I said, well, what I know is that they've annulled it. That's what I know. The marriage has been annulled. But here's the funny thing about that, guys. Nobody could find the annulment documents. Nobody. Not In Touch, not me, not People, not A&E. Nobody could find it. So again, publicity stunt. But anyway, we have a documentary that will be coming out in November. And it is going to be the most comprehensive look at this case that has ever happened. And I feel like this is the time because now we have a fresh perspective on Nick and why Nick did what he did. And it's not just for the love of Gypsy, guys. There was a lot of manipulation in ways that I didn't know originally, and now I do. And now that I do, and with this fresh perspective from being in school for forensic psychology, I have a whole new perspective on Nick and why this case happened. And I believe that if certain events had not taken place right before he left Wisconsin and certain things had not been said to him, and I'm sorry I'm being cryptic, but it's going to be in the documentary and I'm just not going to give it away, I don't think we would be sitting here talking about this case as a murder case. I think he would have just gone and got her and left and they would have been fine, and take Gypsy and run would have prevailed over kill the bitch. But that's not what happened. And there's a very distinct reason that we are here today discussing it this way and not a different way. And that'll all come out in our documentary. So you'll have to tune in. And I will be updating a little bit here and there on this case. I'll start going over it a little bit. And eventually the podcast will go back up. We did a 13-episode podcast. We've talked about this on our YouTube extensively. But right now, because we're working on the documentary, we've kind of taken it all down. And it will all come back up, so you'll be able to see all of it. All right, guys, tune in real soon. I'll be back here again. And have a great day. Bye.